Okay, now that we have covered, you've gotten your basic settings down, and in the next one we covered the longer one, scenes and sources, as to what scenes are, what sources are, how to use them, what the eyeballs are. I didn't discuss what the locks are, and I'm going to throw that out to you real quick so you kind of know. What a lock does is if I click on the lock, you see it lights up and it goes from unlock to lock, which means no accidental changes can be made to that source while you're doing other stuff. It's locked. It cannot be changed. That's what the lock is all about. That's real simple. Now, you have file up in the top left corner. You have file, edit, view, profile, scene collection tools, and help. Okay, under file, show recordings, show remux recordings, settings, show settings folder, show profile folder, always on top and exit. These are pretty much self-explanatory, and you can click on one and it's going to show you the folder from the app data, the roaming, OBS Studio, and this is going to show you uh, the different, like the encoder, the service back, the stream encoder. You're probably not going to be worrying too much about that, but you have your profile, your settings folder is going to show you your basic, your crashes. Now, I've had the system crash a couple times, and it's going to show you your crash data so that you can actually, if you have to go to under help your log files, you can access what am I? Your logs, your crashes. You can get all this information. So if you have to go to one of the OBS forums and they ask you to upload what caused the crash, you know where to get the folder to copy the information to bring it up into the forum so that they can actually research and take a look at what's going on, because occasionally the software will crash. Edit. You can copy, you can paste, duplicate, paste references, and duplicate. Duplicate is when you create a duplicate of something. Reference is when you copy something from one and you're going to move it to the other. You can copy the filters, for which if I have highlighted in like webcam and I go to edit and I say copy filters, I can actually copy the filters that are in webcam so that I can use them for other purposes. You can paste the filters. In other words, you can copy the filters from a particular source and you can paste them into another source. Transform, edit, transform. If you have one of these highlighted, you can go that way, but I tend to just go this way and it's a lot easier. Order, move up, move down, move to top, move to bottom. Once again, that's talking about you have a particular source that's highlighted or a particular scene that's highlighted. You can move them up and move them down as needed. You can lock the preview so that it can't be changed. And then you have your advanced auto properties. A lot of the stuff you see in this, you already have down here. View, you can view the full screen areas. You can review the docs. You can lock. In other words, these things are all locked. Everything's docked. Now let's say I want to unlock sources. I can actually move this to where I want it to in a different location. You see how everything changed when I did that? Boom. Where'd my scenes go? It's gone. Docs, if I click it, it comes back. Basically, I can hide stuff and bring it back at needed times. You can actually move things around to different locations so that if you feel more comfortable with your scenes over here and your sources over here, and all this covering the bottom. It'll shift you can actually change all of this to do what you need to. Toolbars, list boxes, okay, and that's your toolbars. Status bar, which is up here, and you have stats. Right now, stats is telling me I'm running at my usage of right here, tells me what my CPU is, tells me what my frames per second are. My HDD space available on this particular hard drive is 139 gigs. Average time to render time frame, 6.2 milliseconds. The usage, this is all the information. You're probably not going to access all of that, but you do have the ability to get to that. Okay, profile. What is a profile? A profile is for all the settings that you have for frames per second, audio, all the different settings that you have set for a particular scene is in a profile. So right now on our Hunter, I have my settings for the scenes that I have in here, but I can rename that, I can remove it, I can duplicate it, I can create a new profile for a new scene that's going to have different settings. In other words, right now everything's set up for streaming, but if I want to set this up for the purpose of recording, which means I can use much higher settings than I would for the purpose of streaming. So I could go into my settings and I could change a bunch of stuff like output, and I can go into advanced. I can look at my different information, my video. I can change all these. I can change my frames per second. I can bank her up all the way to 60 frames per second to give me the most high definition that I can. Recording, I can change where. I can change, in other words, I can change the settings so that I can get a much better recording than I could if I just ran by the settings that I have for stream. You can monkey around with this. You can change everything that you want to kind of give you a better set. So once you get that all changed over, okay, you can create a new scene, and we'll do that, and we'll call it recording. Now I have a new scene, recording. Now I can actually create a profile, okay, new, and I can name it recording one, because you can't copy names like the same name as a scene is the same name in add profile. It won't let you. But I can go recording one, and all the settings that I set up for recording one will be saved in the profile so that I can bring that profile up and I can change all these settings without actually going into settings and doing all the changes necessary for my recording. I can have it, like, for example, I can have it set up so that when I go to the profile for this that I set up for recording, I can just access that profile and all the settings will change for that particular profile. So I don't have to sit there and spend all my time working in settings, getting everything reset over. It can already be preset in the profile. Okay, what is a scene collection? Okay, now let me show you what I have in this one. I have test, tutorial, and graveyard shift live. Now you see right now we are in tutorial and you see two scenes. If I want to change over, I can click over to here to scene collection and I can go to like graveyard shift live, and it'll take a second. And what you'll see is everything change over, where all of a sudden now we have graveyard shift, Skype call, intro, Chrome display, recording chemtrails, all these different scenes that I have collected, and all the different sources in those different scenes are all in a scene collection. And I can go back, I can go test. I created these, and it'll take a second. And now you see the test profile. I got one scene not named. I got a webcam and I got a slideshow going, and that's for that one. And I can go back to the tutorial for which I'm working on, that I'm working with you. And we have our different, webcam. Let's highlight it and let's move it up. I had to move it up because it was actually below the slideshow, so I wasn't there. I move it up, and there I am. So you can collect your different scenes for if you're going to have different types of live broadcasts that you're going to do. Like I have mine that's based on a faith-based and a truther network, and on what's going on in our reality that people don't see. So I have under Graveyard Shift Live, which is my Friday night live stream that I do at 11 o'clock Eastern every week. Thinking about moving that to 10 o'clock just to bring it a little bit earlier. But that's, and I have a lot of scenes, and I got a lot of sources involved in that particular live stream. So I have that saved in a scene collection. Now I'm going to be doing a new scene collection, and this is for chemtrails, and this is what you're looking at, the background behind me. I got, right now I'm giving you the basics of the quick slideshow in the background that's going to be going on for that live stream about chemtrails. I've got the process where I'm going to be doing, I'm going to have window displays. I'm going to be having some media sources. I'm going to have some text. I mean, I got a lot of stuff that's going to be going on with that as I create it. So when it goes live, it's going to be a lot different than the setup for the Graveyard Shift Live scene collection. So I will set up, I will create that scene collection, and then I will make all the scenes and everything so that all the scenes are together, all the sources are together, and it's ready to go. And if I want to bring it up for another broadcast on chemtrails, I don't have to sit there and have a whole list of a bunch of scenes and a whole list of a bunch of sources from two different types of live broadcasts I'm going to do. I can always go into my scene collection and just pick the scene collection that I want, and I will name it chemtrails so that I know what it is, so that when I bring that up, everything's ready to go for the chemtrails live stream. That's what scene collections are. So now you know what profiles are, and you know what scene collections are. Kind of do a little bit of playing around with that, and when you're done and you think you got a little handle on it, you can move on to the next video. With that, I'll see you soon. Peace.